Hello everyone, welcome back to another FPL video on Fantasy Football Scout. It's team selection time, and literally about a minute before we started recording, we have just seen kind of breaking news that Everton versus Aston Villa is postponed, and Newcastle versus Villa has been rearranged. I think it was the 23rd of January. Either way, It could be in game week 19 or it could be in game week 20. We don't know yet. FPL obviously will take some time to think about that and let us know. So we will talk around that. But obviously at the time of recording, we don't 100% know exactly what's happening. So I should also say, I'm with Gianni. How are you feeling with all that?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, it was fun just chatting with you before we went on air to be like, okay, we think it's going to go. Surely it's in 19, but what if it's in 20? This season, prepping in advance is usually something we can rely on as FPL managers. This season, so much of that prep goes out the window, and you just pray that too many of your plans don't have to change. But we're having to change them all the time, aren't we?
It's absolutely mad because there will be people that have free hit, for example, and they're going to have kept like Grealish, Martinez, and Calvert-Lewin. They're going to come back now. Calvert-Lewin's not going to have a game by the looks of it in game week 19, but potentially now Villa have got a double in 19, or a game in 19 and one in 20. So it's absolutely mad.
Yeah.
And obviously,
and we still don't know what Villa players are out.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be handy for the game to be rearranged to game week 20, so that in 19, when they hopefully play Man City, and obviously there's no guarantee that will be on, but I think it will just because of the time. Like at that point, they should be able to put out a team. We'll see who's fit, and then we can worry about it in game week 20. But obviously, that's not what we're here for right now. We are doing Gianni's team selection, so we're going to talk about how he did in game week. I've even forgot what game week we're in. Game week 18, and then we're going to look ahead to game week 19. But obviously, we will kind of touch on this because it probably is going to affect kind of transfer plans and stuff like that. But it is kind of an initial reaction because we've only just heard about it. So let's look at game week 18 first. You had a big rank jump so far, 500k. And considering you got 45 points, 49 with a -4, it just shows what kind of week it is. And obviously, people have used a lot of chips, but it hasn't necessarily put them massively ahead of those of you, like Gianni, we should say, who hasn't used any chips so far, apart from obviously the first wild card. So you've come through game week 18, no chips, no free hit, no wild card, massive green arrow, only 10 players as well. No one to play tonight, so there are a few free hits obviously with Arsenal players, but if that was a low scoring game, then your quid's in. So how are you feeling after that with no chips used?
Yeah, really happy. My strategy was always not to use a chip, but bring in all the template free hit players. So if they did bang, I was covered. And I kind of did that you look at that back three, they were in most free hits, or certainly Spurs' defensive cover was. And then you look at Rashford, De Bruyne, and Bruno and Kane, and they were in most free hit teams. So I was kind of covered. So if they had bombed or banged, I was going to be kind of happy either way. Because I was in it. So, it's a brilliant week so far for me. Even if Arsenal go crazy tonight, I still don't think it's going to be massive for me, because in terms of the Twitter bubble, yes, everyone on free hitting has got Arsenal players. But in terms of the bigger picture, they're not high-owned players. So I should be fine. It's been a great week. I've got Mitchell on my bench. I'm hoping he doesn't go and keep a clean sheet now, because I was between Mitchell and Burke, and I went with Burke, who got subbed on 59 minutes, and he was going to get the clean sheet point as well. So, it's a great week. I took the 4-point hit for Wood. Bit of a punt, but it was more thinking about the double that I wanted Wood for. I didn't expect him to do much against United, and I got the minute points. So, it's good so far. Like everyone, Andy, I was cursing at the TV last night. KDB. The point.
I forgot. I genuinely, because of the fixture stuff just then, I genuinely had forgotten about that. Yeah. Go on. You can rant for me.
He takes the penalty and scores it. It's 16 points for those of us that have captained him. But I can't complain too much, because I know I'm in the same boat as 90% of the people probably watching this video.
It doesn't matter. It's still frustrating. When I was watching that, I saw him go over straight away. I thought, that's a penalty, right? There's nothing about this. He's taking him out. Look, maybe he didn't mean to do it, but that's going to be a penalty. And I'm thinking, right, De Bruyne has won it. De Bruyne is going to take it. That means no assist. That's perfect. That is perfect. No one else is going to get bonus points for this. He's going to take it. He's going to score it. And I saw Sterling step up, and my first thought was, why is Sterling taking it? Then my second thought, before he even took the penalty, was, he's going to miss this. He's just rubbish at penalties.
Yeah.
And I get that De Bruyne is tired, which apparently was the excuse, but
Yeah.
De Bruyne is a world-class player who's great at penalties. I'm sure he could have plucked up a bit of adrenaline to take that. So it's such a weird situation. So 6 points. Like, if for anyone, like, I take you, did you watch the game? Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah.
He should have got more points. I just he has dodged so many points lately. It's unreal. Look, maybe people will say he's a bad finisher, but I just think he's a great player who's just missing a few great chances right now, and that will turn. So yeah, I think you can feel unlucky. I think it would have been much bigger. 16 points would have been huge. But in other places, Lookman came on. Looked really good. Yeah. Decent performance,
finally,
right?
He's so good, mate. I know he was benched last night. I think he's been out injured because he's usually the first name on that Fulham team sheet. He didn't play in the FA Cup. He wasn't even in the squad. So he came on last night and just looked so bright. He could have had a goal as well. He's really good. I mean, I'm selling him this week, and that was always the plan. But it's nice that I finally got one return. And also, it wiped out all those Spurs clean sheets that, although I've got Dyer, I was very happy with, because I know everyone on a free hit has got Spurs defensive cover. And no one, of course, went for a Fulham attacker. So, yeah, it was a good night. And just going back to quickly some stats on the KDB thing. I mean, yeah, we're asking him, Pep, just to hit a dead ball from 12 yards. How tired can a man be? He's been running around like a headless chicken. To win the penalty, he was running hard. And then Sterling, he's missed his last 3 Premier League penalties. When someone takes a pen, you just go, I don't care who takes it always, as long as they hit the ball clean. Sterling has never been someone that hits a ball that clean as he. So, I mean, he's just not a penalty taker. So, yeah, disappointed in that. But the City defence came in. That was nice. Few heart-in-mouth moments when Brighton kept getting the set pieces late on in the game. And I'm thinking, oh, damn, Burn, Dunk, please don't stick your head on this. Because they're not great in the air, City. But, yeah, I mean, it was a good night. And then what I needed, Andy, was Son to blank. That was the one player that could have stung me this week that I didn't have cover for.
Hit the post as well.
And he hit the post, and he missed a couple of big chances early. But actually, despite those big chances, he didn't look great last night, Son, did he?
Well, I think so. I saw a couple of people, I think it was maybe even late risers, tweeting that he looked tired. I thought he looked quite tired in the Leeds game as well, because he and Kane, they've had a few rests in Europe, but they've mostly been playing kind of 80 to 90 minutes every single match for most of the season. So I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, like we won't get into an XG conversation, but he has scored a lot of goals from a low XG. This could just be it evening out. Like, sometimes great players miss big chances. So yeah, I wouldn't be too worried if you own Son long term. But for those non-owners like you this week, it looked really good. And last thing to mention before we go on to next week is Cancelo. I don't know how he's not getting more points. Again, he looked really good last night. I think it's a bit like Lamptey, where everyone, I watch Lamptey and think, how is he not getting more points? The difference with Cancelo is he's getting the clean sheets already. So it's just those attacking returns, and he just looks great. And I think he and Stones are just such good value options.
We need to change. We need the broadcasters to change their City lineups as well. It ain't a back four, and I know when defending, okay, Cancelo is at right back, but in attack, it's a back three. Zinchenko's in the back three. Cancelo's a midfielder, and he's advanced as Gundogan and way ahead of Rodri. So he's just an absolute joy to own, and he nearly scored last night on his left foot. He just shot straight at the keeper, but great work. And then the assist threat. I'm so excited to own Cancelo long term. So that was a good transfer in. I can't see him going. We should get on to Gameweek 19 before we rage, or I rage any more about Man City. But he played a perfect through ball to Mahrez. And the kind of shot it was for Mahrez, you just see him open his body up, curl it into that corner every time Mahrez finishes that, and he just didn't finish it. So he gets that. Cancelo's suddenly on 2, maybe even 3 bonus points, and we're laughing. But look, what could be, it always happens in FPL, and next week maybe it'll be a bit different. Let's talk about Game Week 19, because it is a big one. And obviously it's big for the reasons we've just mentioned. So you've got 2 Villa players, Target and Martinez. Now, again, we are recording this literally like a minute or 2 after we saw the news break. So Martinez and Target don't have that Everton fixture anymore. That's apparently been postponed. So they've only got Man City away. But the Newcastle fixture has been put in
has been put in. We don't know if it's in game week 19 or game week
Oh, no, I think
20.
just looking, Andy, it's
Okay.
showing now on the site that it's in game week 19.
Okay,
So I
let
don't
me
know
have
if
a
we can
look.
confirm that, but
I've got Martinez. Oh yeah, they play. Okay, so it has been confirmed. Oh, this is ridiculous. Man City away and Newcastle at home. So it's in game week 19. So Villa now have a double game week again. Arguably a better one. Newcastle's probably a better fixture than Everton, especially Everton keeping quite a few clean sheets recently. Okay, so you've got two Villa players with two games. Sorry, so I guess even with the COVID thing, we're not going to get to see them play until that Man City game probably. I think you're just keeping them hoping for the best, right? That they start.
yeah, exactly that. I mean, I was in two minds to play either Dyer or Target because Dyer's, of course, got the single game and it's against Sheffield United, and I expect Spurs to keep a clean sheet there. That second game is now Newcastle for Villa, then yeah, I'm going to have to go with Target. Although, of course, there's always a threat with Villa defenders against Man City. The minus points could come in. You know, Martinez will get save points, so you don't think they'll be minus. But Target could easily get minus points. Saying that, yeah, the Newcastle home fixture is lovely. So those two will be staying in. I just hope that they're fit and ready to go. We just don't know what Villa players are good. I won't be considering buying any Villa players this week, put it that way, until we have confirmation who had COVID symptoms, who tested negative, who's been training. Because one guy I really want to buy is Watkins, but I'm probably going to wait till game week 2021 to do that.
Yeah, I think like a lot of the time, unless the player wants to be named, they just don't get named. So the only time we're going to find out is when we see a team sheet.
Yeah.
And by that point, the deadline's already gone. So it is a massive risk. I know without going into my own team too much, I really want to get Grealish. But unless I know for sure that he's fine, I just don't think I can take that risk. It's not like Man City away is the best fixture anyway. So it's just that Newcastle one is so good. So yeah, I quite like the look of that now. Obviously, you mentioned the City players. So there was a little bit of worry that the Villa game might not be on, but it looks like that probably will be on now. So they've got a really good set of fixtures. Crystal Palace at home, Villa at home. Obviously, you're happy with those three, no changes. And is there any thought of changing the captaincy off De Bruyne?
I don't think so. Now Villa have got this new game in, we think, for me, that increases the likelihood of Aston Villa City going ahead. Like the Premier League are helping Villa out here. Villa need to show up for the City game first and then for Newcastle. So I'd be very surprised if that game doesn't go ahead. I was slightly concerned on giving KDB the armband at the risk of them playing Palace and then them not having the Villa game. But there seems like there's enough time. The training ground will be open. They should have enough training days. We know they can put a team out because they did it in the FA Cup anyway. And that's without all the first teamers who will be back. So yeah, I think I'm KDB. I had considered, Andy, triple captaincy this week because I've got all my chips. Yeah, so because I've got all my chips, I'm not going to have as many double game weeks to chuck my triple captain armband on later in the season because I'll be using those for other chips, right? And it is two home fixtures, and it isn't at a time when there's European football, so minutes shouldn't be an issue. They are in form. KDB's numbers are ridiculous. He's missed 5 of his last 6 big chances. That cannot continue. We know he's still on penalties. Pepper said that last night. I'm tempted on KDB triple captain. I don't know if I'll have the minerals to go through with it, but KDB armband is pretty much nailed. Yeah. I mean, I'm buying Salah this week. It's between KDB and Salah, but I think it'll be KDB.
Okay, we'll come on to that transfer in a sec. I think with the I agree. I think it's a great time to play Crystal Palace. I mean, they got smashed by Liverpool. I realise Liverpool haven't done very well since, but I also think they conceded 3 to Villa. And Man City have just got more goals in them. Like last night, how they didn't score more than 1, I don't know. Like Brighton, not a bad defence, but they had more chances. So I think it's a good time to be playing Crystal Palace. And it's probably about as good a time to play Villa if they've not been training and stuff like that. Villa have been very good this year, and I actually didn't think it was that good a fixture originally, but I think it's got to be slightly better than it was. So I quite like the triple captain. The only thing is, obviously, for anyone else like you that's got all their chips we're all thinking there's going to be a big double game week in 26, but for those of people that have saved their bench boost, that's probably when they'll use it. There should be some more double game weeks outside of that, though. Man City, for example, have got I think they've got another fixture. They got Southampton at home and Everton away to fit in somewhere. So there will be smaller double game weeks. So the triple captaincy is not a must this week, but I do think it's a really good set of fixtures. It's just whether that Villa game goes ahead.
Problem I've got is the free hit chip for me. I know most identify blanks, and I might well use it in a blank. I can see myself using the free hit chip because I've got my wild card to maybe navigate that blank in 29, using my free hit on one of those smaller doubles where most people will go triple captain.
Yeah.
I might free hit and stack up on those players. So again, it's just there's only 3 or 4 players in the league I'm probably going to give a triple captain to. It will be a Kane, a Salah, a Bruno, or a KDB. And I happen to have KDB this week. He happens to have 2 homes, and there happens to be no European football around it. It's I don't know, if it wasn't early in the season, I think it'd be a no-brainer. But because it's game week 19, it's like, oh, will there be better? And then there's that slight fear, will there be a triple game week for someone like Spurs later in the year? And that it's a tiny threat, but it could happen. It's happened once before.
I guess the only thing with triple game weeks is obviously the games would have to be quite close together to fit in one game week. So will all the players play twice? But if it is Spurs, Kane and Son are playing, or at least Kane for sure, is playing twice. So I know what you mean. I think, I don't know, I think for me, if I wasn't bench boosting, I would be triple captain De Bruyne this week, I think. I think the 2 fixtures are just so good right now, and he just looks great. But Pep saying he's too tired to take a penalty, and then in 3 more days he's got to play another game. I don't see him getting rested, but
if he's so tired, Pep, then sub him off. Like, why didn't you sub him?
Well, I guess it was only 1-0, wasn't it? I guess if it had been 2 or 3, would have, because he came off at half time during the FA Cup. But anyway, we'll see if you go through with a triple captain or not. So you mentioned Salah.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume Kane is going to be your make weight for Salah. So how does this work?
Yeah, with a heavy heart, Andy, because it's not one I want to sell. I've got quite a lot of money in the bank. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's like
3.7.
3.7 million, right? So I mean, I can sell Rashford for Salah in a straight swap, no hit. But I don't want to do that. I bought Rashford in for this double. I know Kane's got a lovely fixture, and I know there's always single game week players in a big double that do well, and we go, oh, we've looked past them. But I'm just not sold on Spurs at the moment, and I'm sure they'll score against Sheffield United, but will they score big? I don't think so. Just like I didn't think they'd score big against Fulham. Hence only going with Kane, not Kane and Son. So yeah, Kane's going to go to make weight for Salah. So Lookman to Salah. Kane, I've then got 7 odd million to spend on a forward. I don't need all that money because I want Antonio at 6.2. He's got a double game week.
So is it Kane and Lookman out? Is it? Yeah.
Kane and Lookman out. Salah, Antonio in for 4.
Yeah, I know. People are always going to. Obviously, we always talk about single game weekers, and definitely we do at times overlook single game week players, but we're in a position game at 19 where so many other big hitters that have also, it's not like Kane and Son have been miles ahead of the rest of the big hitters, right? They're all kind of keeping up with each other. So Salah with a double game, I have considered going without him, but it's just too scary. It's just way too scary. And if Kane, I think Rashford is actually quite a good hold because he has a double game week in 19. It's not the best, right? Liverpool and Fulham, like even Fulham haven't conceded too many goals recently. But then it's Sheffield United at home, Arsenal, Southampton, Everton, West Brom, Newcastle. He's got a pretty good run of fixtures, and then you're probably looking at wildcarding anyway. So I think he's quite a good hold. And also the other thing for me, just for anyone else that's thinking about this, is Kane does have Sheffield United away, but in the next 4 he has Liverpool and Chelsea. So the games aren't actually that easy for Spurs. So I don't think it's a bad time to get rid, especially for Salah, right?
Well, how does this sound, Andy? I know United's fixtures are all right, but I don't want the United double up long term, attacking double up. So I'm thinking, yes, I go Rashford now, and then I'm selling Kane ahead of a Liverpool game. So that's ahead of the Liverpool
Sheffield
game
United,
in game week 20.
Yeah.
And then in game week 21, Rashford plays. No, sorry, let me get this right. I'm looking at going Rashford to Son in game week 21. So Rashford. Then I have Rashford for Sheffield United in 20, lovely fixture, and then he has Arsenal in 21. So I sell him for that, and then I get my Spurs cover back with Son, who has Brighton, I think it is.
Yeah, Brighton away. Then he has Chelsea, which isn't ideal, but then he has West Brom at home. That game week 23 game is where I really want my Spurs players back. It's going to be a tricky situation because obviously one thing we haven't really mentioned is that Leeds versus Southampton's also been postponed. So you've got Bamford, who's obviously down to a single game week. So that game has to go somewhere as well. So that could happen before game week 26. So you're in a really good position now, I think, because you can build for these small double game weeks and not worry about what your team looks like because you'll wildcard a few game weeks later. I think for people like me that don't have that now, it's going to be way more difficult. So obviously Bamford's only got a single game week for you now. Are you worried about that? Is there any kind of thoughts about getting rid of him?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be the only one in my 11 playing a single game week, and I've got Dyer on the bench. I could go Dyer over Bamford, but the ceiling is just higher with Bamford, isn't it?
You can't be doing that.
So Bamford has to play, and Brighton will have a good go. Brighton Leeds is going to be a brilliant game to watch, and I think we're doing it on Scoutcast Match Day actually on Saturday. So join us if you can. That both those teams have a good go. I expect goals in that fixture. So no, Bamford's staying. Do you know what? He's one of those players that I can't see myself selling anytime soon on a wild card or around singles or doubles because I just want Leeds attacking cover and he is the one to go with. So yeah, and now he's on pens as well. Bamford's staying.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between Kane and Bamford. Kane is blocking a massive big hitter. Bamford isn't, and the fixtures. I mean, straight away in game week 20, it's Newcastle away, and I mean, people are already talking about when that Leeds versus Southampton game might get slotted in. And potentially it could go into game week 23, which is not confirmed, we should say, but that's the kind of speculation right now. And if that was to happen, they'd have Southampton at home and Crystal Palace at home. So suddenly you want Bamford straight away. Newcastle looks like a great fish. He's on penalties. And to be honest, there's not too many other cheap strikers to go for. Like a lot of us will be banking on Antonio for game week 19, but we're banking on those hamstrings staying together or not being pulled. So yeah, I like that pick. I think the team looks good. I think without a wild card or a free hit, I don't think you could really be in a much better position. Obviously, Villa having to play Man City is not ideal, and we don't obviously know who's going to play, but we're all in that boat, right? It's not different for anyone else. So, yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. I think if you can come out at 19 with another big green arrow with 3 chips in hand, could be a big end to the season. And as you always say, it's only the rank at game week 38 that matters, right? So you're not too worried right now?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm quite confident. The only players I don't want long term in my team are Rashford and Wood, and I expect them to go in game week 20 and 21. Wood goes in 20 to Watkins, and Rashford goes to Son in 21. That's the plan. I know we have to be flexible, but so far the plan's been working. All the moves I've said I'm going to do, I've been lucky enough that I've not had injury or too many injuries and too many fixture postponements, so I've been able to stick with my plans. Like this week, the plan was always Cancelo and Rashford in. They came in, Salah went, Salah's going to be back. So yeah, I've been quite fortunate in the last few weeks, to be fair.
Yeah, well, I think fortunate's a bit harsh. Oh, sorry, a bit. What's the word? I know. I think you're being a bit hard on yourself. I think, of course, people have been affected differently by different fixture postponements. But given that you've tried to manoeuvre from such a high rank and also then not use chips, I think it's hard to say that you've been lucky. I think it's been good. And if you nail those chips, like I said, the fact that I think anyone that's in a position that can play around with the smaller doubles and not have to worry about their team because they're going to wildcard could be a really strong finish. So make sure if you haven't already subscribed, because we will be checking this every single week and seeing where we end up in like kind of 5 to 10 game weeks. So it'd be interesting. Hit that like button if you enjoy it. Gianni, I think we will leave it there. So Kane and Lookman to Salah and Antonio is the transfer, almost certainly. Obviously waiting to see if there's any more news before Saturday because it's been absolutely ridiculous. De Bruyne captain, possible triple captain, right?
Definitely a possible triple captain. I'd say I'm currently 60-40 in favour of not doing it, but my head can easily be turned. All I need is a good press conference or just a little bit more foresight. But yeah, it could very much happen. If it does, I'll be tweeting about it. You can bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah, make sure to give Gianni a follow if you aren't already on Twitter. Obviously, you can see the handle on screen. And yeah, I hope you do triple captain. I think it's a good one. I think if it doesn't work out, so be it. The triple captain is only worth 1 extra score anyway, so I reckon people that are thinking about it, don't overthink it. De Bruyne is great. Just go for it. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. Do hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit subscribe if you're new around here. We'll be back with Scoutcast tonight, Team News tomorrow, Breakfast Club on Saturday, and also a couple of match casts as well during Game Week 19. So hit that subscribe button and we will catch you again soon.